Have you ever made a crafty purchase only to get it and have zero idea how you're going to use it? Well, today's sketch starter, I'm going to show you how I took this concrete wall washi tape from oh no to oh yeah. When I got this concrete wall washi, I knew it was going to be a challenge. Because of the realistic background, it's not something that I normally go for, but I sure did love those gold triangles on here. I mean, who wouldn't? So when I saw today's sketch, I thought this might be the perfect opportunity to use it. So I'm going to use the washi tape in two ways for the background. The first one, I'm going to use it for that skinny panel in the center, and for the second one, I'm going to use it as the background piece. So this is a super easy way to get this washi tape introduced into your crafting arsenal. So for my first card, I'm going to put this on a piece of white cardstock that is just the right size. And the reason I'm doing that is because this is still a little bit transparent, and I don't want it to show through the darker colors that I'm going to have behind it, which is black. So it's best for me to go ahead and get this on some white cardstock so that the natural beauty of the washi tape shows through. So for the second card, since I'm going to be doing it on the background panel, I have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece set up here. And I'm just going to do 2 rows of the washi tape, aligning it evenly right along the edge. And washi tape is just a hair forgiving, so if you're going to end up with a little bubble or a crease, you can lift it up carefully before you press it down, and you'll be able to get it up. So this isn't large enough to fit on a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So what I'm going to do is just take a second piece here and line it up on the opposite edge. Now this will work because the center stripe goes from top to bottom, so I don't have to worry about any of this doubling showing through. That piece is going to cover right over this, and I'm not going to have to worry about seeing it. So that is how we're going to get this washi tape into today's project. After finishing the washi tape panels, I knew I wanted to pair them with a floral. So I picked retro plantains because of all of the solid images that I would be able to do in black. So I could keep that whole monochrome look of black, white, and gray, along with the gold, going through both projects. So I have here a piece of real gray and a piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to ink up a whole bunch of the retro plantains stamps. I do this often because I don't always know exactly what my arrangement is going to look like, so I can go through and set up an entire sheet with a whole bunch of different elements in it and use them as needed to create a project. So for instance, I might just pop some of these on here and do them up in obsidian black. Of course, using my MISTI is really important because I want these to be super crisp black and white images. And if I need to restamp them, the MISTI is going to help me do that. All right, so sometimes I end up with a really good first press and I don't have to worry about doing any more. But these will dry in just a minute and I'll be able to die cut them. So I'm going to do the same thing with the real gray and set up some pieces here. And because the pale gray is a colored cardstock, the weave tends to be a little looser, which means that I most likely will have to stamp twice to get a really good black impression. So I might work up a few more of these pieces and then I'll die cut them and I'll see you on the other side. All right, so I have all of my pieces cut out and I've got all of my other pieces ready to go to put a card together. So let's start by putting together the first one. So remember, I've got one panel that is the narrow panel for the center of our sketch, And then on this card base, I've put a piece of the jet black cardstock. So I'm going to start by getting this one adhered to my card base. And remember this, when you're looking at the sketch, this goes from top to bottom. There is no border around the top or bottom, so it's going to line up right here. When you're doing your washi tape, you'll definitely want to make sure that your piece of white cardstock underneath is properly sized for your card base. Otherwise you may have some trimming to do, and that's not a bad thing, but it you might end up cutting off, of course, the top of the washi tape, and I like to get that tucked underneath just to make sure that everything stays in place. So that is all secure. And I just wanted to go for a simple floral arrangement, and because of the gray background, I decided to go with the real gray instead of white. I thought white looked okay, but I really liked the way that the real gray kind of blended into that concrete behind it. So I'm going to pick out a few of these pieces, and I already have an arrangement in mind. So I thought I would start off with this taller one here in the center, and then grab these other pieces, and I don't think I'm going to use this one at all, so I'll set this aside for my scrap bin and use it some other time. And I thought I would just kind of bring these two to the forefront and make it pop up a little bit. So I'm going to add some adhesive squares to get that to pop up. All right, so I've got those done, and I'll just put these in place. I thought I would start with kind of one on the left and then one on the right, just making it frame that piece in the back. There we go. Kind of like so. So I have this beautiful little leaf arrangement. And then a teeny tiny sentiment. This is also from the Retro Plant Teens. It says "You Rock," and I just cut it off of a little piece of the leftover real gray cardstock. And I can pop it right down here. So it's kind of a play on words, right? Because we've got the concrete in here and "You Rock." All right, for the second project, remember I have the full panel, and we're going to cover up this overlap here. So let's get this onto the card base first. Now, of course, you could put the washi tape directly onto the card base, but remember I like to fold over my washi tape. So I did cut a piece to size and am attaching it on top here. Either way will work. All right, so now that I've got that down, that's pretty good. Washi tape is kind of a slick surface, so sometimes using a liquid glue or even an adhesive runner doesn't work so well. So I like to double up when I'm gluing onto the slick surface. I'm going to use some double-sided adhesive just on the top and bottom. I'm not going to frame it out completely. And then I'll use liquid adhesive down the center. All right. And because I already did my sentiment on here, I have just a little bit of warpage from my heat embossing. The Hello Awesomeness sentiment also comes from the Retro Plant Teens set. So we'll get some glue down the center here. And using the two types of adhesive is helpful because the adhesive tape is going to stick right away, whereas the glue is going to take just a little longer to dry. But then once they're both adhered, you've got a really good permanent stick. So again, following the sketch, this is going to go right down the middle. And if you hadn't guessed it, I flipped the sketch on its side so that way we could have a landscape project and a portrait project. All right, so now my piece is on here. So there's the sketch, and I just flipped it on its side. And let's go ahead and create a beautiful arrangement here. So I've got tons of space over here, and these little pieces from Retro Plant Teens are not very large. So in the background, I would start with some of the leaves and then pop this guy kind of in the middle, perhaps, since it's so tall. And then again, bring these shorter leaves into the center. So now that I have an idea of how I want this to look, and I am going to pop a few of these pieces up. If you're not sure about your arrangement, you can do it all at once and then use something like a press and seal, a Glad press and seal, to grab all the pieces and pull them up and then glue them down, knowing that some of them you're going to want to pop up. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to do something kind of fun. I'm going to glue just the bottom of it. And I'm going to extend that down past this line, so it's breaking some of these hard lines that we have here. And then I'm going to use some adhesive foams on the back side of it. So if I pop one up here, that gives it just a little bit of dimension where it's flat down here and it starts to pop up as if it's coming out at you. And then these guys I'm going to do in some foam adhesive as well, just like the last card. And get them in a similar arrangement to the first card. Except this time I think I want this one to kind of creep up a little taller, so it will look like it's from the same leaf set. So if I pop this guy up here and then pop this guy down a little bit, it'll look like they're kind of attached, and it just gives me more vertical to work with. All right, so there you have it. 2 awesome takes on a fantastic sketch, and also overcoming a little bit of product fear with the Concrete Wall Washi tape. I hope this sketch gave you some inspiration and you share out your projects on social media. When you do, don't forget to tag Alta New LLC and Pixel Mavens Retreat so we can find and share in all of your beautiful creations. Thanks for stopping by today. I'll be back with another sketch starter soon, but until next time, happy crafting.
Hello crafters, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching!